All right, today we're heading out to the very edge of our solar system, to this mysterious deep blue world called Neptune. It's a planet of insane winds and really strange moons, but honestly, the most incredible part of its story isn't what it is, it's how we even found it in the first place. I mean, think about that for a second. That's the real question here. Before anyone ever laid eyes on Neptune through a telescope, they found it with pure mathematics. This wasn't some lucky guess. It was this incredible win for the laws of physics, proving they worked all the way out to the fringes of the known universe. So, this cosmic detective story actually begins with Neptune's neighbor, Uranus. See, astronomers noticed something was off. Uranus just wasn't sticking to its schedule. It kept straying from its predicted path, almost like something huge and invisible, way out in the darkness, was giving it a little gravitational tug.
Well, this little mystery kicked off a huge scientific race. It started in 1821 when Alexis Bouvard officially wrote down the problem, and by the 1840s, you had two brilliant minds on the case, John Couch-Adams over in England and Urbain Verrier in France. Both of them, working completely on their own, were trying to find this ghost planet using nothing but its pull on Uranus.
And the result was just unbelievable. Verrier finished his calculations and mailed them to the Berlin Observatory. An astronomer there, Johann Galle, gets the letter, points his telescope to the spot Verrier predicted, and that very night, bam, there it was. A new planet, less than a single degree from where the math said it had to be. Just think about that. A world discovered not with a telescope, but with an equation.
Okay, so we found it. But what exactly is this new planet? Well, Neptune isn't just another gas giant like Jupiter or Saturn. No, it's in its own special category. It's an ice giant.
And just to help you wrap your head around the skill here, Neptune is 17 times more massive than Earth and almost 4 times wider. Oh, and because it's so incredibly far from the sun, 1 year on Neptune takes almost 165 Earth years. Get this, it only just finished its first full orbit since we discovered it back in 2011. Crazy, right? So, what makes it an ice giant? Well, the name's a bit confusing. It's not a giant solid ice cube. Instead, underneath its gassy atmosphere is this super hot, really dense fluid made of stuff we usually think of as ices, things like water, methane, and ammonia. And it's all swirling around a small, rocky core. And that beautiful blue color, that comes from methane gas in its atmosphere, which soaks up all the red light and reflects the blue. But don't let that column beautiful blue fool you for a second, because underneath that serene exterior is the most violent, most chaotic weather in the entire solar system. No competition. 2,100 kilometers per hour. Let that sink in. That's how fast the winds on Neptune can get. These are the fastest winds ever recorded anywhere in our solar system. We're talking supersonic winds whipping clouds of frozen methane across the planet. It is, by far, the stormiest world we know. You know, when the Voyager 2 spacecraft flew by back in 1989, it snapped pictures of this huge storm, this giant hurricane-like thing they called the Great Dark Spot. It was as big as our entire planet. But then, just a few years later, when the Hubble telescope took a look, it was gone, just vanished. These massive storms can just pop up and then disappear in a matter of years, which just goes to show how unbelievably dynamic Neptune's climate is. And Neptune's mysteries definitely don't stop with its wild weather. The things that orbit it are just as bizarre. We're talking about a rogue moon with a pretty dark fate and a system of ghostly, clumpy rings. So let's talk about Triton, Neptune's biggest moon. This place is just wild. It's one of the coldest places in the solar system, but it has active geysers shooting nitrogen ice into space. But the weirdest part? It orbits Neptune backwards. That's a dead giveaway. That retrograde orbit tells us Triton wasn't born with Neptune. It was a wanderer from the Kuiper Belt that got too close and was captured by Neptune's gravity. And that capture doomed it. Triton is now slowly spiraling closer and closer. And in a few billion years, it's going to get torn to shreds by Neptune's gravity. Now, when you think of rings, you probably think of Saturn's, right? Big, bright, beautiful. Well, Neptune's rings are faint, dark, and dusty. But they've got this one feature that just baffles scientists. These bright, thick clumps of stuff called arcs. Logically, these clumps should spread out evenly around the whole ring pretty quickly. But they don't. They stay put. It's just another puzzle in this faraway system. And all this really brings us to the biggest questions of all. Because for everything we've managed to figure out about Neptune, there are some huge, fundamental mysteries that we can't explain yet. And this one might be the biggest puzzle of them all. Neptune is the farthest planet out there. It gets very, very little energy from the sun. So, what in the world is powering those insane supersonic winds and violent storms? The only possible answer is some kind of mysterious internal heat engine.
Look, here's the problem in simple numbers. For every 1 unit of energy Neptune gets from the sun, it blasts more than 2.5 times that amount back out into space. It's making its own heat, a lot of it, but scientists aren't totally sure how. Is it just leftover heat from when it was formed? Is it radioactive decay? Or, and this is a real theory, is the immense pressure deep inside crushing methane into a literal rain of diamonds? We just don't know.
And here's the real kicker, the one fact that puts all of this into perspective. Almost everything we've talked about, all these incredible discoveries and burning questions, they all come from one single visit, a flyby by the Voyager 2 spacecraft decades ago. Our only up-close look at this entire world lasted for just a few hours.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Neptune was found through the sheer power of mathematics, a triumph of what we can know. And now it stands as this giant blue symbol of how much we don't. It's a humbling reminder that even in our own cosmic backyard, there are still so many secrets waiting for us out there in the dark.